The Romulans researched Borg technology at a base known as the Vault. The Vault was abandoned in the chaos after the destruction of the Romulan homeworld. We sent a group of scout ships into the region a few years later, but they were lost in an ambush by an unknown vessel. Since then, we have been monitoring the region for signs of activity. Long-range sensors have detected energy spikes in the Hakona system, and Klingon intelligence believes that someone is bringing the Vault back online. I want you to find out who. I also want to know if there is any Borg technology or restricted weaponry on that base. Good luck, and good hunting.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander. Congratulations, Lieutenant Commander.
Obviously, this station isn't as abandoned as Intel suspected. Sensors are reading several Riemann ships in the area, and that's just the ones that we can spot. That station is immense. It must have taken an incredible amount of manpower and technology to build it. It's almost the size of a small moon. Sensors are reading a sophisticated tachyon detection network, as well as several patrolling vessels. For an abandoned station, this facility certainly has a lot of activity. My people are experts at stealth technology. If we want to approach unseen, we must avoid confrontation and find a way to evade or jam their sensor grid. We must assume that if we engage the ships here, they'll notify whoever is left on the station, and it may become difficult to find an entry point. The Riemanns are all over this system. If we start a fight with one of the ships, we'll probably have to fight them all. And there's no telling how many are cloaked here. We have a number of possible options to explore. All of the construction work out here must have required the use of a lot of worker shuttles and a communication booster. We might be able to dig up some information about the station's communication network, if we can find a subspace relay satellite. The Riemanns are all over this system. Sensors are reading a small derelict worker ship near some of the asteroid debris. We might find helpful clues there. The Riemanns are all over this system. The material requirements to make a base of that size must have been enormous. There's a lot of stellar debris here, probably remnants of asteroids or fragments from moons that were mined for raw materials. We might be able to do something useful with them. One of the large asteroids has a navigational beacon. The tall Shi'ar must have placed it there for some reason. The Riemanns are all over this system. The Riemanns are all over. There's a small patch of nebula gases near the station. The static discharges in the area are highly intense. We may be able to cover an approach to the station by traveling through the nebula. This would be risky, because the nebula would cloud our tactical displays and interfere with our shields, but it would almost certainly keep the station's sensor grid from detecting us until we're right on top of them. The Riemanns are all over. Indications are that this vessel was refitted for asteroid mining. Apparently, a containment failure in the engine core led to a massive radiation surge. The engine went into emergency shutdown, but all of the couplings and injectors were burned out. The crew probably died due to instant radiation burns. It looks like the vessel was stripped for parts and left derelict. Although the vessel's engine core is a total loss, some of the backup computer systems were left intact. This vessel was used to deploy some of the tachyon detection satellites around the vault. There's a copy of the network algorithm in the computer memory. If we put the tachyon satellites along the final meridian into maintenance mode, we can create a gap in the detection grid that will let us slip through. If we can get close to the base without passing through the detection grid, we should be able to put a satellite into maintenance mode. Then that will give us a gap that will allow us to slip into the station itself undetected. Looks like they left this satellite as a communications booster for their short-range worker shuttles. Unfortunately, it's heavily encrypted. We could use this to boost our own communications. If That doesn't seem to offer any way in to the station itself. Approaching the tachyon grid perimeter. If we're detected by it, that will definitely alert the Remans. The satellite's in maintenance mode. We can pass through the net. Picking up some unusual energy readings. We'll need to explore the accessible interior areas and see what we can find. Looks like there's another access conduit across from us. We'll have to think three-dimensionally in here. Sensor readings are also picking up a few scattered life signs. We've tripped some security systems. The doors are a massive set of interior bulkhead doors. They're segmenting the different parts of the base. Possibly a safety measure in case something went wrong in one of the central areas. Access appears to be controlled by use of security keys. We can disable it if we can find a code block that matches part of a security key. This defense turret was hooked into part of the security network. There's a security code in its subsystem. Code block 6750 is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. Key in the appropriate code when the rotation matches to it. Trying a code on the wrong rotation will probably invalidate that code, so be careful with the timing. Unfortunate. You have missed the rotation. The security key is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. The security key is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. Key in the appropriate code when the rotation matches to it. Trying a code on the wrong rotation will probably invalidate that code, so be careful with the time. The security key is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. Key in the appropriate code when the rotation matches to it. Trying a code on the wrong rotation will probably invalidate that code, so be careful with the timing. Microgravity storage containers. Since this interior space has no artificial gravity, they're just left to... The security key is on a rotation. Each code block matches a piece of one key. Key in the appropriate code when the rotation matches to it. That's it. Well done. We should be able to bypass the system and gain access now. There's still power in most of the station. Some of these conduits are damaged. Keep an eye out for energy discharges. Microgravity storage crates, mostly construction supplies. No weapons or unusual energy signatures. Above us, that's a Borg sphere. The Tal Shiar must have used this base as a storage facility and research area for Borg technology. The Borg sphere is dormant, like it's been put to sleep. It's not the source of the strange readings that long-range scans detected. Looks like the sphere's hooked into part of the local systems network. We should be able to exit through the other doors now. Probably a safety precaution to keep them locked. quiet in this area. Too quiet. This is disturbing. We're looking at a facility used to build Thaleron weapons. If the Remans have infiltrated this base, they may be trying to secure those weapons.
So our intruder finally arrives at the heart of the matter. Have you seen all that you came to see, little spy? Does it really matter? Call me Obasek, if a name is that important to you. That should be obvious. I intend to make use of this station to further my agenda. Your presence, however, is a bit more curious. I expect that you are operating under the shroud of Empress Sela, whether you realize it or not.
The Klingon Empire's intelligence services can hardly match the Tal Shiar or the cunning of Empress Sela. The most likely scenario is that you are here simply because there was a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow. You still do what Sela wants, but she cannot be implicated in your actions.
Your protest will do you no good in any case. I expected interference, and I have taken steps to ensure that you will not disrupt my plans.
I'm not especially interested in what you will or will not permit. My only interest is proving a point to the Romulans. My people have been hounded across the stars. We have been separated from our loved ones and had our homes destroyed. Our ships have been attacked and our warriors slain by treachery. No more. We will take the fight to them, and we will be free.
I am afraid our time is at an end. My associates have already finished loading the Thaleron weapons that we need, and I have other operations to manage. I think we both know what happens now. May your death be quick and valorous.
past the door locks. Reinforcements have arrived and are just past that nebula. We don't have much time. We need to meet with our allies and stop that ship. IKS Azatbur is signaling us. They're going to engage the Riemann ship, but they want us to take care of the fighters and plasma torpedoes. We are now in the micronebula.
was a glorious explosion! Probably from the Thaleron weapons carried aboard the ship. We are going to leave the system under high warp to draw off any reinforcements that might come looking. Suggest you return to Klingon space.
Excellent. We need to learn more about the conflict between Obisek and the Romulans. If Sela is stupid enough to wage war against our own vassals, we might be able to use the conflict to our advantage. You were right, however, to destroy the Thaleron weapons. They are the tools of a coward. I would rather look my enemy in the eye as he dies. Klingon intelligence will be working to decode the list of possible targets you acquired from the base's databanks. The next step is to find out why the Remans want to attack these locations.
Congratulations, Commander.
Congratulations! You have proven yourself to be a strong warrior and invaluable to the Klingon Empire. Report to the shipyard orbiting Kronos. I would like to formally recognize your contributions to the Empire.
Intelligence has decoded the list of Reman targets that you recovered from the vault. I want you to infiltrate one of these targets and determine why Obisek would attack it. The Vahar system is still technically part of the Romulan Star Empire, but Ferengi speculators have moved in, and the Empress has done nothing to remove them. The big-eared little money grubbers have reopened their mines and are now doing business with anyone with latinum. You will go to the Vahar system under the pretense of negotiating a trade deal for the Empire. Talk to Madron, the operator of the mines. Convince him to allow you access. Find out all you can. Once we know why Obisek and the Remans are targeting these mines, then we will know how to proceed. The Remans are used to dealing with Romulans. Like an abused targ, they now fear all who approach. I had great hopes for the Remans in the days after Shinzon's rebellion and the destruction of Romulus. They threw off their shackles and stood as the Romulans' equals. The High Council even considered an alliance with the Remans, but they were too suspicious and paranoid for much to come of it. It is better this way. The Remans' fear makes them weak.
Melanie Dion and her minions may have sworn fealty to the Klingon Empire, but we did not. I feel need for no one. Leave now or be destroyed.
This moon is private property. No solicitors, beggars, or Klingons allowed.
For some high-quality magnesite? We have the finest ore in the quadrant. On behalf of the miners and residents here, I'm more than happy to welcome you to our home. Please, transport to the surface. Unfortunately, the large amounts of extremely pure magnesite ore in the core of our little world will interfere with your sensors. For safety reasons, I must insist that you use the transporter signal enhancers that I have installed at my own expense. Also, I know Klingons are fond of their battle parties, but could you please restrict the number of crew you bring down to the surface? My people here aren't used to strangers, and you wouldn't want to disrupt their work, would you?
Did you need something? It's a long story. After the destruction of Romulus, I joined a group of colonists looking for a new place to settle. We chose to form a new agrarian community on Viranot, a pastoral world on the edge of Romulan space. Our colony was attacked and destroyed. I managed to evade the attackers and get off-world with a small group of people. My luck ran out here, and I've been stuck ever since. I'm a biochemist by trade. I specialize in hemocyanin, a division of hematology, working with copper-based blood. On Viranot, I handled a lot of issues related to food compatibility and local biochemistry. These days, I mostly handle minor medical issues and nutritional deficiencies for the people living here. I can't afford passage off of this moon. I've managed to stay out of debt, but I don't know how long that will last. This whole mining facility is nothing but strange. That Ferengi, Madron, rides everyone hard to make a profit. But just when it looks like things will get too bad, he turns around and does something generous. Folks have occasionally disappeared, and not by leaving on a ship. People here for weeks or months will suddenly vanish. People talk about seeing strange things, or being kept out of parts of the mine by the guards. There's something deeper in those mines. I'm sure of it.
My life is unimportant. It's my brother. I can't find him. I last saw him 2 days ago. Madron assigned both of us to work in the upper levels of the mine. Toshin's drill bit broke, and he needed a new one. I know I should have gone with him. It's not safe to be in the mine alone. Now he's gone. There's a group of people down there who treat the mine like it's their own. I don't know why Madron tolerates them, but they make life miserable for the rest of us. They steal and terrorize the weak. I once saw them dragging a woman to the lower levels, and I never saw her again. She wasn't the only one. Many people have disappeared. I thought if my brother and I kept our heads down, that we would be safe, but maybe they took him. Murderers. Murderers. If they killed my brother, I'll kill them all! If you go into the mine, watch for the silver spheres. There are creatures in the dark. Devils. They're made of stone. Nothing can hurt them, and their touch burns. I have seen them moving around in the tunnels. Anywhere you see the silver spheres, the monsters are not far away.
What can I say? We exist. I mine because there's nothing but rocks on this forsaken planet. If I'm lucky, I dig enough ore to make my quota and Madron pays me. If he pays me, I can eat and have a warm place to sleep. If we don't make our quotas, there's nothing. Even if I do have latinum, most of it goes to Modron to pay my debts, and the rest he takes in exchange for the supplies he imports. I would leave, but I owe too much to Modron to ever earn enough to buy my passage off this place. Besides, where would I go? Every morning, the first thing I do when I wake is curse that Ferengi's name. Modron found this moon about 2 years after the destruction of the homeworld. Most of our equipment was broken or useless, the supplies were gone, and we were starving. After some negotiations, Modron had his contract and we had food. We're supposed to be working with him, but he's the only one who benefits from our labor. Modron owns the only working ship here, so no supplies come in without him. He negotiates all of the ore contracts, so most of the latinum goes into his pocket. And he sets the prices for food, medicine, and equipment, so everyone here owes him more than we can ever repay. He owns us now. I hate him for that, but I can't live without him. A few people tried to take Modron's ship once, when he was sleeping off the Tranya he drinks. It has a biometric lock. Nothing on the ship responds to anyone but him. So what would we gain by fighting? A moon full of rocks and no one to sell them to? No food and no way to get more? No way to leave and no hope? I hate Modron, but because of him, my children don't cry out in hunger or shiver from the cold. The Empire? What Empire? Our Empire turned to dust with the loss of the homeworld. If you're rich or in the military, then maybe there's something. I hear the people in Seela's Shining City and the Rator system live quite well, as long as they obey her commands. For the rest of us, there's nothing but dust and regret.
Family and I have been here all our lives. It's a hard life, but it's all I know. My mother used to tell me tales of the homeworld. She'd talk about the plazas in Rate or vacations she spent with her father on the shores of the Apnic Sea. And she would tell me about my father, who gave up his place in the military evacuation ship so she could live. He never really had a child. She would tell me these stories, and later, when she thought I was asleep, she would cry. He charges us too much and pays too little. He's like everyone else in this world, out for himself. But he doesn't let us starve. And if a child needs medicine, they get it. Many here grumble and hate him, but I cannot. If I were in his position and his life was in my hands, can I say that I would act any differently than he does? Stay in the settlement. Don't go down into the mine. And whatever you do, don't leave this area. I do not wish you harm, stranger. And there are many dangers here. There is a group. They rule the mine. And they are dangerous. Even Modron fears them. If you avoid them, they will ignore you. And defy them, and they will turn on you. Last week, a good man died because he would not give them what they wanted. He was not the first. There are many monsters on this moon that you would be wise to avoid. Outside of the settlement, there are packs of wild animals. If you take a warrigal from its mother when it's very young, it can be tamed. If you wait too long, they are savage. Packs of wild warrigal roam the edges of our settlement. Often they prowl the refuse piles, looking for scraps of food. pack of Oracle can kill even a strong man. You must be careful when you are in their territory. They are not the only monsters here. The miners tell stories about creatures made of stone who can burn you to cinders. I have not seen one of these creatures myself, but I know that many people who enter the mine do not leave it. You're the first outsider I've seen in a long time. There's no reason for anyone to want to come here.
On behalf of everyone on this forsaken rock, let me be the first to welcome you to Hathara. As you can see, we don't have time for pleasantries, and I'm not sharing my Tranya stash with you. So, why don't we skip the chit-chat and get down to business? Unfortunately, I cannot call this mine my own. I'm just a middleman. Out of the goodness of my heart, I help the residents here pass on the products of their hard work to commercial entities such as yourself. The minuscule transaction fee and trade tariff I keep to offset my expenses is figured into the unit cost of the ore. My operation has become one of the best in the area because of the high demand for my services from both sides. I provide the best mining equipment and supplies in the sector to the miners, while my customers get competitive pricing on the ore they need. I don't pay much attention to that. Miners have empty carts and they return with ones filled with ore. If you're that interested, you could visit the mines themselves, but I don't recommend it. It's such a dirty, disagreeable business, and I'm convinced that breathing ore dust for too long is terrible for you. The miners who live near my quarters used to keep me up night after night with their dreadful coughing. I had to install soundproofing just to get some sleep. Are you sure you wouldn't rather look at the ore I had for sale? Really? Suit yourself. Just remember, I have an exclusive contract to export magnesite ore from this moon. If you try to cut me out of your deals, you'll regret it.
I don't have time to talk to you right now. I need to repair this drill so I can make a living. Not unless you know an engineer who'd be willing to take a few moments out of their busy schedule to help me fix this hunk of junk.
I can't talk to you. I can't talk to anyone. I'm on the run. And if those thugs see me talking to you, then you'll be in danger too. Look at you. You're almost as scrawny as I am, and I haven't eaten in 2 days. Thanks, but I need a real fighter on my side. These guys would kill you, and I don't want your blood on my hands.
I'm sorry, I really can't talk at the moment. I have to finish a survey of the area so the miners can start work on a new mine shaft. I need someone who is familiar with the techniques involved in sonar analysis of soil compositions. How good is your podology? I've marked some coordinates on your map. Please go there, scan the soil content, and report back to me. Thank you so much for your help. This information will be incredibly useful when we're ready to tap a new vein of ore. To answer your question, I'm not sure what makes this mine special. I haven't had much chance to explore the whole thing, though. My shuttle broke down in the system 6 weeks ago. Modron was happy to pick me up, but he's holding my shuttle until I've worked off the cost of the repairs. I can't wait to get off this rock. I have seen some strange people in the lower levels of the mine. I tried to do a survey down there once, but they wouldn't let me pass. Perhaps you should look there.
You want to go in the mine? Are you really interested in buying any magnesite? Or are you just here to cause trouble? Because if it's the latter, I know someplace you can start a little ruckus. There's a gang that controls the bottom levels of the mine. They won't even let me in there. Previously, I allowed them to keep their little kingdom in exchange for information. But lately, they've been more trouble than they're worth. And the intel they're feeding me is useless. Honestly, who doesn't know about the Breen invasion of Deferi space?
What do you want? This area is restricted. Only people my friends and I like may enter. And I don't like you!
Enemy target identified.
You are out of line.
With all due respect, sir, there is a difference between protecting the Empire from her enemies and provoking
There
them.
is much here you do not understand, Jack. The Remans need to know their place. As do you. I will not forget your insubordination, Commander. The Tal Shiar has no place for officers who cannot follow orders. I'll be in the command center.
Colonel, they were civilians. Their blood is on our hands.
Get used to it. There will be more. Speaking of which, why don't you clean out the brig before you become a resident there?
I almost feel sorry for you, but I have my own neck to worry about. I'll be joining you in there soon enough. If Hakeeb has his way, we all will. Enough! I surrender. I value my life more than the Tal Shiar's secrets. I'll tell you anything you want to know. But first, you must tell me why you are here and what you want. The Remans know about this base? Impossible! Only the leadership of the Tal Shiar know we're here. The Empress herself couldn't find us. I don't believe you, but it makes no difference. This is not a military installation. We listen and record here. Nothing more. There are many targets that those Reman scum would find much more tempting. Are you sure you want to end things like this? Enough! The Remans know about this base? Impossible! Only the leadership of the Tal Shiar know we're here. The Empress herself couldn't find us. Are you sure you...
How did you find this place? What else do you know? No matter. You won't be revealing anything to your superiors. It's disappointing I cannot give you a proper interrogation. But I have much to do in little time. The self-destruct sequence has begun. This base will be your tomb.
have you done to my mind? Tal Shiar? I'm shocked! I had no idea. I certainly wouldn't have sent you down there if you... Say, you didn't happen to find anything valuable down there, did you? Because if you did, remember, I have an exclusive contract. And what's it to you? This is a rough area of the quadrant, you know, and they're good neighbors. If you're not easily embarrassed, their cameras and listening devices are everywhere. I haven't had a single problem with Orions or Herodians since they moved in. And it doesn't hurt that I acquired the odd bit of information here and there. I'm a businessman, and information is big business. Unfortunately, no. I'll admit, I was trying to find out, but their systems were locked down tight. I'm sure whatever it was had to be big news. Everyone was on edge. Janik and Hakeem were barely speaking, and I once heard Hakeem mumbling something about orders. Someone's been pulling his strings, but I don't know who. I do know that Tal Shiar takes security very seriously. If you manage to pull any files in the system, you can expect them to be heavily encoded. Trust me on that. I speak from experience. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go talk 100 Romulans into digging a new mine to replace the one you destroyed. My profit margin for this month is ruined.
Buy another drink. Maybe it'll bring you good luck.
Obasek is justified in his anger. The Tal Shar records you recovered from their listening post indicate that they have been tormenting the Remans for months. Their bases have been attacked, their ships destroyed, and their families killed or imprisoned. There is no more honorable reason to pick up a blade than to defend your home and family. However, Obasek was willing to use Thaleron weapons to destroy a handful of Tal Shiar operatives. Using a hammer to swat a globfly is not the warrior's way. It is madness.
Congratulations.